Welcome back to the Authentic Living Show here on 94.9 FM and AM 950 The Word. I'm Courtney Shaw. Joining me back in the studios, my dear friend, Miss Carmen Luciano. She has more than 25 years of business, individual, community development, and growth experience. She has a passion to help others get their financial houses in order and leave a legacy for future generations. Carmen is the owner of Infinity Endless Possibilities, LLC. She's a public speaker, radio personality, and contributor to multiple magazines. She's also the proud mother to her gorgeous daughter, Angelina. Welcome back, Carmen. It's so great to have you here.
It's always wonderful to be here with
it's like
you.
Home away from home, right?
It's like, when is that day again and the time?
I love our time together, and I love your passion to really help empower people to get their houses in order. It's a cause both near and dear to both of our hearts, and it's something that's not a one-time act either. It's really about an intentional lifestyle, even if it's once a month, sitting down with your loved ones and reviewing over your finances, your insurance plans, your health plans, your legacy plan, your will. All of these things are so important, and I know as a mom of two and a wife, I got my hands full, right? A lot going on. But it's so important that we put these things in place because it's a special way we can love our children. Because God forbid, if something happened to any of us, we know that we have a plan in place and we're not putting that burden on them.
Exactly. And we understand that life happens, right?
To us all. Yeah.
Exactly. And we don't know when something's going to happen. Those are called unforeseen occurrences.
That's right.
So we just want to prepare ahead of time. That way we know that we can have at least a peace of mind when it comes to something happening in our lives.
Absolutely. And I truly believe it's God's will for us not to be reactive in a mode of chaos, but he really wants us to respond with peace, clarity, wisdom, so we can be present during those unforeseen circumstances that happen to us all. So I brought you back today to talk specifically about financial planning for families that have children with special needs. And it's not something that really is thought about or talked about. It's enough of a burden that a family goes through a child being born with a disability and just the day-to-day with that. But then you add the financial cost of that on top of it. And a lot of families have dealt with bankruptcy. There's financial hardship, and that adds a whole nother level of pressure on the family. So I want to talk to you a little bit today about what families can do with children with special needs when it comes to budgeting or special planning or things available for them to help lighten some of the load so they can really focus on the care of their loved one 100%.
Exactly. So just knowing that you have a special needs child, that's a total different area, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's handled a little bit differently as well. So I decided to bring some key points when it comes to that planning. For example, have you selected a guardian to care for your child when you are no longer able to do so?
Well, and that's something you don't really think about because you're so much in the day-to-day struggle of how do I lift my child up out of bed? I got to make sure they have their medications planned out. And there's a lot of strain that comes onto the healthcare giver as well.
Exactly.
And that could cause an untimely death, unfortunately.
And you're not thinking that you're going anywhere because that's your child. So you want to be there forever for them. But life happens.
That's right.
So do you have somebody that's going to be assigned to take care of them? Have you executed all the necessary legal documents? Have you petitioned the court, right, to be guardian? Because once that child becomes 18 years old, it doesn't matter if they are special needs child, the court is going to assume that they can make decisions on their own. Imagine that. And that you don't have that control over your child when they need you.
And that's something we don't even think about too. And you know, and I've heard of situations in the past where people will find themselves around somebody that has special needs and they are of the age and they take advantage of the situation. And because those particular preparations haven't been made on behalf of that young adult child, that these children are taken advantage of too. And the situation could really cause more harm to their child as well. So that's just about being proactive.
Exactly. And a lot of families don't have the answers. This is something new to them. So they're experiencing something completely new. So it's really important to be that resource, right, to the families.
Absolutely.
Have you written a letter of intent to express your wishes of how your child should be taken care of in the future? That's important. Are you familiar with the government benefits that are available for your child? And do you adequately understand the standards that must be met for your child to qualify for those benefits?
And that is a whole educational process in and of itself. And like you said, this is new territory for a lot of families that are coming into having a child with special needs, that they really need to be equipped by somebody who's an expert that can walk them down this path and take away some of the feelings of being overwhelmed, right? Just by all the information. And there's so many vital decisions to make, and you don't want to make the wrong one. So this is where somebody like yourself or somebody in that industry
and
can
even
come
an
alongside
attorney.
them.
You know, sometimes you need to set up your board of directors. Who's going to be there for your family? Exactly. Now, imagine another area, special needs have certain entitlements when it comes to government benefits. But imagine your auntie and you have a niece or a nephew with special needs, and you have your will and you decide to put their name as a designation, beneficiary designation, without you knowing how that can impact that child's benefits. So there's certain ways setting up that special needs trust to avoid certain things. And you're not going to know these things or properly plan if you're not sitting with individuals that specialize in certain areas to come together to help you with that planning. Because at the end of the day, we want to make sure that our child's going to be taken care of whether we're there or we're not there. We want to make sure that we're there for them.
Absolutely. And I think these are all great things to take in consideration. I'm sure just when you first get a diagnosis that you're so paralyzed and overwhelmed by that to go through all of these steps that you mentioned is really going to take, like you said, a board of directors and a team coming alongside. And one of the things also is the care. It's financially being able to budget in special care, because a lot of times the school system, unfortunately, can only provide so much. But there's some children that need extra special therapy or one-on-one attention. And that in and of itself can get super expensive. So are you able to sit down with families as well and help them create a budget or access government funding for additional care as well?
Absolutely. I can help them plan accordingly and then actually partner them with other experts in their field, right, that's going to specialize. For example, I can't give legal advice because I'm not an attorney. I may know certain forms that are needed, but I leave that for the attorney to help them with. And we just come together. We work together and making sure
there's power and partnership in your industry too. And it's so important for you to know all the different team members that can come together, because like you said, every situation's differently, especially with the special needs child. Somebody may have a more lower spectrum child when it comes to certain disabilities or things that they need to tend to, and it's more manageable. But then you may have a child that is bedridden from the very beginning and is going to need 24/7 care. And that takes a whole different type of team coming alongside them to provide relief for the family as well.
Right. And you don't have all the answers at the beginning when you have a special needs child. You know there's something wrong or the child's not developing like everyone else until the doctors tell you, or sometimes they need to figure it out themselves exactly what is wrong with your child. So while they're doing that, there's other resources and tools. We want to make sure that you have an adequate plan that's customized to your needs. Not everybody's needs are the same.
That's so true. It's so true. Well, Carmen, where's some information that our listeners can go to, to schedule an appointment with you, to get a consultation so they can take that first step and you can sit down and evaluate what their specific needs are?
Absolutely. Reach out to me at 407-350-6650. 407-350-6650. I'll be more than happy to meet with you. There's no consultation fee in sitting down with me.
That's wonderful.
That's a way to give to our community, right?
Absolutely.
Let me find out what you're going through. Let me see how I can connect you with the right resources to make sure that your child's going to be taken care of.
I think that's wonderful. And it's great to know that there's a resource like you out there for special needs families, because I think that's a first step too, is to put together a financial game plan and make sure you've got your house in order for your loved ones so they can get the best care, short term and long term, even long after you're gone as well. So I want to talk to you a little bit now too about a special program that's near and dear to your heart. This month of July and August, we're going to talk about a summer to serve, because I truly believe the Bible says it's more blessed to give than it is to receive. And that, a lot of times when we're going through something personal ourselves, it's easy just to be an introvert and start feeling sorry for ourselves and focus on our problems. But there's something so powerful that happens when we get the focus off of what we're going through and help somebody going through a situation that's far more difficult than what we're going through. So talk to me a little bit about SECO and this awesome resource that's been made available for families that have, different motor disabilities as well.
A wonderful school that's right within our community, right off of 436.
Wow.
An amazing school where doctors or maybe individuals have said it's impossible for your child to do certain things. And Seiko says, no, it's possible.
I love that kind of conversation, that faith-filled conversation. That's right.
I've seen it with my own eyes. A wonderful school. We're going to learn a little bit more. I want the ladies that are here to talk about it.
Yeah.
But it's dear to my heart because really quick, while I had 1% chance of ever getting pregnant, had complications, had to have injections to keep my little baby.
Wow.
When I went into to deliver her, not understanding why she's not coming out. Well, the umbilical cord was wrapped numerous times around her neck. Suddenly she's born blue, lack of oxygen, and not knowing what was going to happen next was that fear moment. I do have a healthy 13-year-old Angelina.
Praise God.
But just understanding that fear.
That's right.
That these parents go through, not knowing what's going to happen next or what to do next or who to, contact. What's available, because the public schools can only do so much.
That's so true.
But Seiko is a school for these children that can actually help them move forward. You see the joy in their face. They smile, how some are in a wheelchair but walking with help.
Wow.
Eating, so many, the way they develop their skills is unbelievable. But they're there to work with these children, and you see the smile and the tears in the families, those parents, and we're going to learn how to get involved.
I love that. And that's the thing, too. I think so many times it's not necessarily if you have a child with a special need, but you may know somebody. And this past month, we were over at the beach and we ran into somebody that my husband used to go to school with. And they had this handsome young guy that was 13 years old, and he has muscular dystrophy, and he's been in a wheelchair, and she's a mom on a mission. She's trying to find different types of therapy and resources to help him, and just to see the journey that they go through on a daily basis, just to get their child in and out of the pool. And here our kids are just jumping and flipping and running, and just to know, what, there's a resource right here in our backyard in Central Florida. And that's one of my passions here in Authentic Living, is to make the secret things known and to bring that to the forefront, because there's so many families that are struggling.
Yeah, and what I love is that they even work with the parents. They teach the parents. Which is wonderful.
Well, I'm excited to have Allison and Kristen here right after this commercial break. So Carmen will be right back with Kristen and Allison, I think it is, with Seiko. Can't wait to have them on. This is Courtney Shaw. You're listening to the Authentic Living Show here on 94.9 FM and AM 950 The Word, where faith comes by hearing.